Reverse 1999 is often regarded as one of the most exceptional gacha games to this day. For the most part, every time I hear about it, it's usually always something good. However, with me being the way I am, I said, nah, it cannot be that good. It's got to be overrated at this point. So, instead of sitting here and just judging the game from afar, well, I decided to actually give it a shot and play it for realsies. I wasn't planning to go too deep into it, just for a couple hours, go through the story, just make a review like that. Mostly since I've already played Reverse 1999 in the past, but I completely skipped the story back then because, well, I was just impatient and I didn't care all too much. So for this run, I actually went into it the way a lot of people actually recommend to, which is kind of surprising, but it's to go into Reverse 1999 as if it were a visual novel. When I actually went into it this way instead of just gameplay, I can see why Reverse 1999 is still highly recommended today. It's sorta kinda just that good. So I wanted to dive in, at least into the first chapter, so kinda spoiler warning if you haven't played it, but here we go. So this is the entryway, the quote final lines from Scott Fitzgerald from his 1925 novel, The Great Gatsby. You might be like, oh Kirai, why are you bringing this up? It's just a silly gacha game that's using this quote. To be honest, it's a lot deeper than that. Trust me, I'll try to explain the best I can. Run faster and reach further is hope that in future efforts, we will reach our goal, an idealized goal, that as humans, we believe we are pursuing a better future. However, our dreams are often rooted in an idealized version of the past, a past that no longer exists. While constantly being carried back into the past is the realization that despite this effort, people are inevitably pulled back. This is the inescapable past, or Gatsby's tragedy. That is his refusal to accept that time moves only one way. He tries to repeat the past, but his efforts only really just bind him to it. The current, which is tied to the storm in this game, is time itself, which inevitably sweeps all human effort back into history. So, when you play this game, it's pretty dang thematically linked together with The Great Gatsby. You can probably just tell all your friends that you're reading peak literature. So while Gatsby metaphorically tries to repeat the past, the characters in Reverse 1999 are physically forced into it. The storm is constantly resetting the timelines, dragging the world ceaselessly into the past, and I thought this was honestly pretty cool in my opinion. However, the timekeeper, or Verton, is the only one who can navigate this current without being erased. Verton's struggle is quite literally the embodiment of moving against the current, just to find a timeline where Arcanists and humans can survive. If I'm gonna be real with you, I'm gonna have to stop here, since I can kind of keep going on about this forever, but that's pretty much the gist of it. We need to move on to gameplay at least. Reverse 1999 is a turn-based tactical RPG with a lot more strategy involved than usual, which is honestly kind of nice, considering a lot of recent gacha games that I've been playing have been either roguelike or roguelite. With 1999, it's a lot more of a deck shuffling game, along with just learning how to manage your cards properly, since there's a lot of things you can do with them, and that's fine. It makes the gameplay a lot more interesting. Some of these include learning how to merge or upgrade cards, managing your Moxie/ultimates, learning how to use the elemental system, and so on. Now some of this can be a little daunting and could sound a bit scary, but it isn't really that bad to be honest. It more so kind of just depends on what kind of team you're looking for, like how I chose to create a team revolving around my strong, independent, iron-willed, righteous, and beautiful favorite character, DK. I actually don't really know how to say her name properly since everyone online kind of has a different way of saying it, but whatever. I like using her because she's honestly a pretty cool hybrid DPS that has pretty insane sustain as well, but there's honestly any team comp that you can think of when it comes to this game. It just kind of depends on what you're looking for out of a team and how you're going about boss fights. But besides that, this game has a great way of farming, gathering materials, and even doing multiple runs in a row to gather materials even faster. It makes the whole process of leveling up certain characters a heck of a lot easier than most games, making it a lot less of a hassle. Other than that, look how smooth this game is. Look at it. Look how smooth this is. Oh my god. On PC, this is crazy. The gacha system for Reverse 1999 is often regarded as being solid and free-to-play friendly. I imagine this is mostly in part due to the low soft pity, as well as the pools carrying over to the next banner, which honestly is becoming quite rare nowadays in these newer gachas. Like, why don't you guys want my pity to carry over? You want me to spend more money? But anyways, for as long as I've been playing, I never really had an issue with gathering materials or pooling at all. Now, you can be like, but Kirai, it sounds like every other gacha game that I've played in the past. Why is this one a lot better and free to play? Well, you want to know why? Well, because the 3 to 4 stars in this game don't feel completely useless. You know how much I hate when a gacha game puts in these low rarity characters that just kind of fill in a bunch of inventory when you actually get them. For the most part, they're pretty garbage, have zero depth, and are just there so that you have to clean and manage inventory more. At least with Reverse 1999, every character is the complete opposite of that. It feels like I can actually sink some time into them and all these other lower rarity characters without having to say, I'm doing it for the meme, bro. I'm doing it because it would be funny, bro. Do you think I should C6 Noel, bro? Every character in this game honestly just feels worth building depending on what you're looking for as a player, which is great. So this should come as no surprise. You want to talk about world building in one of the most story-driven gacha games that has ever come out. Say wallahi. Now, I've played a lot of gacha games, like a lot, from mobile to PC, and to be honest, the skip button is usually the first thing I look for. But ever since I started wanting to review these types of games, I had to stop. And to be honest, sometimes it's not bad, but not for every game. It's either manageable or it feels like I'm being tortured and the skip button is begging to be touched. But Reverse 1999, man, just read it. This game is practically a light novel, but once you actually get invested into the story, which for me, it happened when I was going through chapter 2, which is Tender of the Night, or Peak of the Night. After going through that whole roller coaster of a chapter, I was pretty much took from there. Now, every other chapter after that gets read. Along with the solid soundtrack, beautiful art, and fluid animation, it's no doubt that this game is going to get an easy 5 for the world building category. So now, in terms of longevity, the Reverse 1999 community is pretty dang dedicated to the game, and with all the good qualities about it, it only makes sense. With almost 100k members on Reddit, I imagine this game is only going to keep growing as more people look for something like this. Now, you might say, but Kirai, you said this game is super fun. Why don't more people play it? And if I had to answer that question, I'd say because this game, well, its company really, knows exactly what it wants to be and who it wants to appeal to. Because you know, most gacha games are, well, waifu collectors like Azur Lane, Nikkei, and Brown Dust. But on the complete opposite side of the spectrum, we have games like Limbus Company, Mormons, and Reverse 1999, who appeal to a certain niche of people who aren't exactly looking for a waifu collector or fan service really at all. Either way, do you know how nice it is to actually be able to open a gacha game in public without having to worry if anyone is actually near you? It's actually quite nice. There's no PvP or co-op. There's no such thing as fan service, and if there is, well, it's at least quite tasteful. The gameplay doesn't have you grinding for all of eternity like some other games, like how it is gathering artifacts in Genshin. That's what honestly makes it pretty cool. Now, if we're going to blast through the rankings, here are my personal ones. The feel of the game, well, let's circle back really quick. Look how smooth this game is. Look at it. Look how smooth this is. It feels great. The UI is clean. The animations are unbelievably fluid. No matter where you are in game, it looks like it should at least be a $30 game territory. I mean, there's $30 games that don't even look or feel this good. So this is probably one of the easiest 5s I'll be handing out in my life. Have you seen the game? The gameplay, art, animations, and music honestly has me scratching my head for how much it costed just to produce all this, with just the artwork alone. And if you haven't played this game, you have to, because I think everyone deserves to experience what it's like to go through the story when Death on Nell Mountain actually starts playing. Another easy 5. No weapon banners. These are things that you get for free just for leveling up your character. That's like when your broke friend Gilbert wants to get Mega Chameleon, but he has no money. So he asked you if he could borrow some cash. Fast forward 2 weeks later, and he still hasn't paid you back. So you just incinerate him, and now he's gone. The weapon banner is just gone, and you get to save another $6. W 5 out of 5. Narrative. Now this one is a bit subjective. Well, actually, this whole video is subjective. In my opinion, the narrative and story for this game are A1, but for some people, they might not just care that much. Now, you can go back to my Mormon's video with that any game that has this aesthetic, I usually just tend to love it right off the gate. Any of these steampunk, clockpunk, whatever you want to consider it, I just usually obsess over them. And don't get me wrong, I usually don't mind futuristic type story games as well, but to be honest, I get over them too quickly. It's kind of hard to believe, at least for me, that this game is already 3 years old. I mean, it's not as popular as other games when something new happens, but this game already found its audience already, keeping the game alive, and it's pretty well kept as well, with such a tight-knit community. I'm pretty sure this game isn't going to just randomly disappear everywhere and lose all of its following in one night and die down. For the most part, it gets updates pretty regularly, there's always a new event going on, and the developers are quite active. And although I can never truly predict the future of a game, I'm pretty sure Reverse 1999 is going to be around for quite a while. So with that, it's going to get the honor of being the first gacha game out of all my reviews to get a full score of 25 out of 25 points. And honestly, I don't think I can see it any other way. Of course, this is just me, and in my opinion, I'm sure if I was like other people who don't care about story, music, or high quality games such as this, like if I was some chud who only cares about collecting waifus, the score would probably be much lower. So that's it, to be honest. I have to go back to make another video. The cycle continues anew. Also, I got a new mic, so I'm kind of working it out and making random EQs that, just messing around with. Also, no VTuber supermodel this time, since I need a new camera. So I'm hoping to get that soon, but we'll see. But other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you later, hopefully. Bye-bye.